Shirley's viral video, released over the weekend, in which he says he's uncovering tens of millions of dollars in fraud at Minneapolis daycares run by the Somali community. In the video, Shirley tries to open locked doors and talk to people at various daycares.
Whether they're citizens, immigrants, white, I don't care.
You don't care if they target
one? I want the fraud to stop.
But do you support the targeting of this one community?
That is one big pile of shit.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. Dronetek here. I hope you're all having a great New Year's Eve. I'm sure you all have a lot planned, so let's get right into it. Today, I'm not going to focus on the $9 billion that we know for a fact the Somalian community stole from the American taxpayer, but rather the very suspicious activity involving daycare centers that citizen journalist Nick Shirley has uncovered and that the mainstream legacy media clearly does not want uncovered. I have a couple clips I'm going to share with you all of specifically CNN finally covering this story, but instead focusing on discrediting Nick Shirley.
So it's just business as usual then?
It's exactly what you would expect out of these fake so-called journalists. So check this out and then I'll give you my thoughts.
We're from CNN. Can we talk to you?
This is MAGA YouTuber Nick Shirley. Back at a daycare in Minnesota, he alleged was a fraudulent facility in a now viral video.
People are going to say this is a left or right issue, but no, fraud is fraud. And so I'm not out here trying to put a twist on things.
Shirley's viral video, released over the weekend, in which he says he's uncovering tens of millions of dollars in fraud at Minneapolis daycares run by the Somali community, was retweeted by Elon Musk and Vice President J.D. Vance. In the video, Shirley tries to open locked doors and talk to people at various daycares he claims are frauds.
Did you come during their normal operating hours when you came to visit?
I came at 11 a.m., I believe, and I also came the following day later in the day. The point of it is not whether or not I came at the right time of their operation hours. The point is that blacked out doors, they can't give you any information. You call that number, no one answers. I wasn't trying to go inside, and there should be a way for somebody to actually be able to call that number and somebody be able to answer. These aren't real businesses.
But surely you don't think a daycare should just be unlocked. You shouldn't be able to just walk into a
There
daycare.
should be a reception.
No, every daycare is locked.
Their doors are locked.
And so, okay, you bring up a fair point. Then why can't they actually give me information how to enroll a child?
Federal law enforcement has been investigating fraud in Minnesota for several years. Both Attorney General Pam Bondi and FBI Director Kash Patel said on social media they've indicted dozens of defendants. DHS has posted multiple videos of agents they say are conducting a massive fraud investigation.
Do you think that federal law enforcement hasn't done enough? I mean, they would say, look, these fraud cases have been going on, but they've already done like 80 indictments. The cases have been going on, for years.
And why did I show up one day in Minnesota and go to all these daycares, no children, they're receiving millions of dollars. We uncovered nearly $110 million in fraud in one day.
How do you know that all the allegations that you're making are true?
How do I know that they're true? Well, we showed you guys what was happening, and then you guys can go ahead and make your own analysis.
We're coming so we can make our own analysis. Are you 100% sure you're true?
Yeah, I am 100% sure I'm true.
CNN is looking into Shirley's claims.
Hi, my name's Whitney Wild. I'm a correspondent for CNN.
We reached out to several of the daycares featured in the now viral video. Only one daycare facility answered and said they are a legitimate business.
That's brilliant.
This is just unbelievable. That so-called reporter is an absolute disgrace. Like she's badgering him there about if he's 100% true. Yet we know for a fact that CNN has popularized and pushed stories that they had no idea were true or not and turned out to be completely false that caused some serious harm in this country. Hell, they just got busted gaslighting and lying to the country for the last 4 years to protect Joe Biden. But oh no, this MAGA conservative is breaking a big story that we don't want to uncover because it hurts our political party and our narratives. CNN and other outlets that are avoiding this story right now are doing it for the usual reasons. Like they think that uncovering more fraud will hurt the Somalian community. They do this because the Somalians are black, Nick Shirley is white, and in their Marxist ideology, that makes Nick Shirley the bad guy. They literally don't care what crime is going on, especially if it's helping the Democrats. They literally have every incentive not to investigate. That's why instead of being about the fraud, the story is about the guy reporting it. I mean, just look at how the spazzes on Abby Phillips' show are reacting to all this.
They're rounding up everybody who is involved in fraud.
No, they're not rounding up everybody.
They're all talking about Somalis. That's the point.
I want them to round up anyone who is involved in defrauding American taxpayers of what apparently amounts to $9 billion in a very, very small state. Somali, whether they're citizens, immigrants, white, I don't care.
You don't care if they target one
fraud
community?
to stop.
But do you support the targeting
fraud
of
to
this
stop.
one community or
I
not?
support the
do you think
targeting.
that's the right thing to do?
I support the
Or do you
targeting
think
of
that's the
people
wrong thing
engaged
to
in
do?
fraud.
But do you support the targeting of the Somali American community?
If
as
they are,
directed by the president
if they
of
are
the United States
engaged
based
in
on
fraud,
their ethnicity.
that's not what he said.
That's it.
That is precisely what he
If they are
said.
engaged in fraud and because they're American citizens, should that make them immune?
That's a straw man argument.
Right. And that's what you're doing right now.
No.
Just answer the question.
I did.
Should we
I want
target
anyone
people
involved in
based on
fraud
their
to be
ethnicity?
targeted. Anyone involved in fraud.
But not based on their ethnicity.
I want it based on whether they're involved in
Is it
fraud.
so really so hard to answer that question?
Yes.
Scott?
I want it.
Yes.
Is it
I
so
said
hard
the only
to sit there
criteria
and say we shouldn't target people
the
based on their
only
ethnicity?
criteria I
Can you
have
say
is fraud.
we shouldn't
Can you
target
say-
people based on
can
their
you
ethnicity?
say-
I
can
can
you-
say that.
can
Can
you
you
say
say
that?
that?
I can say
I
that.
can say everyone
It should not be
here can say
targeted.
Can you
Anyone
say-
who's
targeting
not a
people based on
deplorable
their
human
ethnicity
being
is
can
bad.
say you
But
shouldn't
Scott
target people
Jennings
for
won't
that.
say that. Why won't you say that?
Because
Scott?
I don't agree that that's what's happening. I
no,
don't agree with your fallacy. I don't agree with your stupid.
You've heard Donald
obvious.
Trump
Oh,
say
yeah.
that.
Ad hominem attacks
is-
are the
it is-
lowest form of argument, Scott.
Right. And that's what you're doing right now.
The lowest form of
He's
argument
always
is to come out
stupid.
here and accuse me of some kind of
I know,
race-based argument.
That's completely different.
Like, who gave this guy license to go around and say, I couldn't get into daycare centers, the doors were locked? Like, nobody should be able to walk into a daycare center because the doors are locked. These random vigilante justice, something that people in this country know a lot about, these random vigilante justice seekers who ordain themselves like some sort of law enforcement expert, like he's a random YouTuber. And I just find it laughable that the party of the self-proclaimed pro-life people are celebrating cutting off funding to children. The white evangelical crowd who purports to uphold these Christian values are celebrating targeting communities because of their ethnicity and cutting off care to children. It's utterly ridiculous. And I have to say, only a deplorable human being cannot decisively say it is wrong to target this community.
Tiffany Cross, of all people, accusing him of being a vigilante for seeking information about some very suspicious activity. He doesn't need a license. It's called the Constitution, and we have a First Amendment. One of the elements of that First Amendment is freedom of the press. This idea that you have to be issued some sort of a license to do journalism by the government is completely false. And Tiffany Cross, of all people, accusing others of being vigilantes and inciting harm against other communities is the most mind-bending thing yet. She literally told her audience that we are at war and to pick up a gun and get active.
This is a war. This isn't a battle. And we absolutely will win this war.
It is a war. It is indeed a war. And I have to say, they have won some battles, Jasmine, but we have to keep our eye on the war, and everybody needs to pick up a weapon and get involved, because this is for the safety and lasting of the country.
They're trying to use the fact these people are Somalian as a shield against accountability, yet the reason this microscope is on them is because we know for a fact they've been defrauding American taxpayers to the tune of multiple billions. We know about the $9 billion, but I guarantee you it's way worse. You think calling up random people and taking them at their word that there's no fraud going out is how to do actual investigative journalism?
If you're a moron.
And not beating feet on the street, knocking on doors and asking people questions. And spare me about knocking on doors and talking to people. CNN has tracked down multiple people for the memes they posted on social media.
But what part of it in this is a cover-up? What, you saying that's not true, or what?
The Russians, I don't care if they were involved or not. That to me is the least important thing.
But they were involved with you. Did you guys know that?
They weren't involved with us. Just make sure that you report it correctly,
But you guys were involved with being patriotic, right?
very, very patriotic, but not...
Being Patriotic was the group that contacted and helped organize some of these activities that you posted on your own Facebook account.
You cannot hate these people enough. But I want you all to take a break from all of this. Have a great New Year's and be safe. I'll catch you all in 2026.